We have in today another Xbox original. This one's fully working, but has come in for literally every upgrade possible. So it's going to have the deep clean, the restoration, the full recap. It's going to have Xbox Live put back on using Insignia. It's going to be modded, it's going to have a hard drive, it's going to have the Stellar HDMI mod behind, the Noctura fan, and an SSD. So that's a huge amount of upgrades. We better get started. So this is the console at present, and some of you might have noticed something. There's no drive. So if we compare that to a standard Xbox, you can see the height difference is quite substantial. So this had the DVD removed and the case cut and slimmed down to give a kind of slim appearance. You can see the case has got lots of grime and dirt, that'll all be cleaned out. And here's some of the mods we're going to be doing. A silent fan to make it much quieter when running. The Stellar HDMI Plus mod, which gives it HDMI out. We have a SSD for the fastest and most stable storage. Then plus all the mods that want doing inside. So let's just double check this works first and get the overall state of the console. You can see we've got some blue LEDs, custom LEDs. The top's been done blue. I don't think this kind of clouding is meant to be there. I think that's just an attempt to make it clear. But you can see you've got some nice LEDs going on. The customer wants to retain this dashboard as well. They put a lot of work into making this dashboard what it is. So they want to retain that, which means we'll have to do a full hard drive clone when we upgrade. And you can hear how noisy that fan is. The original Xbox fan was always quite noisy, and that's kind of the whole point of this fan. So here it's even ramping up now to be even louder as the system loads. So to take this apart, we just remove all of the screws. This one seems to have wood screws in, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find inside here. And these literally are just wood screws with what kind of looks like hot glue. That's not a good sign. That's the wood screws out. Let's take a look inside this thing. Oh. Yeah, that's not going to work. I think every single part is hot glued in. The fan's been butchered, the cage been butchered. That's just loose. Yeah, this is I don't think something we're going to be redoing. I'm going to recommend the customer just guts all this and has a new shell. So I think what we'll do, let's just strip this down first. I'll let the customer know to hopefully get this in another shell, and we'll do the work on the motherboard. That's the motherboard out, and all this mess I'm just going to put to one side, and hopefully we don't have to touch this again. We can just do a new transplant into a decent looking Xbox. Let's start with the easy things. We'll get the old thermal paste off. And some new paste on. Next up, we'll do a complete full recap of the whole board. We've got the airspeed at 80 and the temperature at 470 Celsius. Use the desolder pump to clean the holes. Then place the new caps through the clean holes and solder in place. And that's the old caps all done. And nice new caps on, as well as ceramics where we can use them. Next up is to clone the customer's hard drive, connected to this lovely contraption, and using Fat Explorer we can see the hard drive here. Now we want to try and load, and depending on if it's locked or unlocked, hopefully it's unlocked because it's modded, we can just mount the drives. There we go. So we want to clone E and C, they're the important ones. So let's just mount C, and then this is all the folder we need. So we just copy and paste all this to the desktop. And once that's done, we now connect our new hard drive, set it up as an Xbox hard drive. And now with the new SSD in, we just use the formatting tools option, create an original Xbox hard drive. And now for partition E, we browse for a folder, select the one we just copied, change this to C, and then we create the new hard drive. And with the new hard drive in and cloned, we just want to double check it still loads the same, and it does, so that looks like it's successfully cloned. So this kit has two phases. This is the main mod, the Project Stellar. It has the Xbox BIOS and all the features. And then we have the HDMI mod that works in conjunction with this, that connect together with this ribbon. And that's the Modchip installed there. You basically just connect the headers like any Modchip and plug it in. There's nothing else to do. Next up is the HDMI mod. For the HDMI mod, the first thing we do is remove the old AV port connector. Solder in this filter circuit here. Feed the plug. There we go, that's one. And that's two. And now we need to solder in a flex ribbon, a few wires, and this can connect up to here. The flex ribbon and all the mods done, including wires. We'll just test this all loose first and connect this up. And now let's just give this a test. And there you can see the Project Stella loading underneath. And look at that, first time. So that's now HDMI out. And that is pixel sharp, as you'd expect. And now we're on the stock dashboard. Now, in order to enter the actual Stella OS, if we power on and off again, you'll notice that when it boots up, it'll say down here to press start to enter the setup menu. You see it says entering setup, and this is how we get to then the main actual Stella OS with all of the configurations and options. This one here is specific for the HDMI. We can change this from 480 to 720. There's absolutely tons of options for scaling and blending, color spaces, everything you could possibly need for the best output. You can see in enhancements, we have a ton of things like default boot devices, some rendering, and this will be updated through the OS nice and easy in future. And one thing you might have caught is the customer's custom dashboards have all gone. The hard drive's fine, but that's one of the quirks of using Project Stella. We need to mess with the hard drive to get it to boot to that custom dashboard. So I think that's it for this one, guys. We still have a ton of work yet. We've got to set up Xbox Live using Insignia. We've got to mount this into a shell. I'm waiting on the customer to tell me whether they want to keep this shell. Hopefully not, because you can see the state of this. We've still got to fit the Noctura fan as well. So once the customer gets back to me, we'll hopefully clean up all this mess, get this nicely boxed up, and the HDMI set to the bottom here. Then I'll show you the Project Stella running some games in HDMI.